one of the leading Czech Republic duos ever. Now training in California, Radka Kavarakova and Renee Novotny aspire for the pair's title. A skater of 1,000 nuances, Rudy Galindo majors in pleasing his audiences with his ability and his attitude. These skaters and more will command the spotlight on Royal Bank Magic on Ice Challenge of Champions.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Royal Bank Magic on Ice and the Challenge of Champions from Fort Lauderdale. Chris Cuthbert along with Paul Martini. Paul, a different event. Usually the skaters have a technical program and then an artistic one. But here, just one chance for the skaters to impress the judges.
It is a unique event in the world of skating. The only competition where one performance determines the champion. I think that puts additional pressure on the skaters, but it also makes it critical as to what music they select because they have to make a solid impression. They only have one chance.
Interesting to see Oksana Baiul for the first time this season.
We followed her story over the course of the summer with her off-ice problems. It appears, though, that she may have turned the corner. I've talked to some of the skaters. They say she looks better. She's been practicing well, and let's hope she can turn her career around.
In the men's event, the hottest skater right now is Alexei Yagudin.
Yagudin has been almost unbeatable during the course of this season. It doesn't seem to matter whether he does a Grand Prix event, one of these Pro-Am events. He's been victorious in almost all of them, and let's see if he can do it again here.
And in the pairs event, the favorites are the Olympic champions.
Well, Kazakova and Dimitrov have had just a brilliant season coming off of their Olympic gold in Nagano, which I think was somewhat of a surprise. They've done well on this Pro-Am circuit, and I think they're looking for another paycheck here.
Katerina Witt, pro champion Yuka Sato, and Nicole Bobek of the United States. But Paul, perhaps most interesting in this event will be how Oksana Baiul skates. She came out of a treatment program in September, and we really haven't seen her at her best since her Olympic championship of 1994.
Well, on paper, this program looks very aggressive. There are a number of highly difficult technical jumps scheduled for Oksana. Scheduled jump, a triple Lutz. Very well done.
Whoops. Haven't seen that in a long time.
Shades of Midori Ito. Triple toe, I think she may have seen the boards coming and elected to only do a double. very surprised she even attempted that double axel at the very end of what was a very difficult program. I don't think that was a risk she needed to take. Aside from the little step off the ice through the camera bay, she did very well.
Well, a step in the right direction in the comeback of Oksana Baiul.
Here's that triple lutz. It's done, but then there are the boards. And just like Midori Ito in Munich, 1991, she has to step off the ice. But if general conditioning is any indication of how well she's returned to the sport in terms of feeling good about herself, working hard at it, I thought she looked very strong out there.
It's an awfully heavy program, it would seem, for her.
There's that double axel. Just a question of fatigue. She just didn't have the energy to get the job done.
Now working with Natalia Linachuk.
Well, I don't know whether, Oksana's the type of girl that would come to the rink and say, I want to skate to this piece of music, and it's pretty hard to persuade her to go otherwise.
Presentation marks, sevens right across the board for the former Olympic champion, Oksana Baiul. Next to skate is Yuka Sato. We saw her win the '94 World Championship in Makuhari, Japan. Also won the Pro Championship the following year. It hasn't been a great season for Yuka Sato as of yet.
Yuka is one of those professionals who's been sort of caught in the bind between the experimentation that's taking place in our sport with these pro-am, open-type competitions. And for all of the skaters, it's critical that you make the right choice of program, the right choice of music that keeps the judges panel happy.
Searching for my head, I thought I'd left it by the door. So I tore around the room like a bird without a head. I saw your picture waving back at me from underneath the bed. From a long, long time ago. When all I had was a handful of stars, the one I always treasured, the one that you wore. You loved the look, but you never looked inside. You would have seen me there. You could have seen me far. You should have seen the magic in my handful of stars. In my handful of stars. I'm trying to live in the present, but I keep tripping on the past. Finding out reality when clarity comes in drips and drafts. No, we never had the time for everything we had. So it felt like we had nothing. That's what makes it so sad. It was a long, long time
Well, I think Yuka's hat full of stars could soon become a hat full of cash. The only question is how much. That was an absolutely brilliant performance. Every scheduled jump executed, brilliant spins. She floated like she was on a cloud. We can't declare the winner, but this is going to be tough to beat.
Clearly the best we've seen her this year.
Wonderful jumps throughout the program. Not a moment's hesitation in any of them. Solid landings throughout. Here's the triple loop, the most difficult jump she executed. And watch how crisply she hits that landing and actually relaxes on it and enjoys the moment.
There's Jason Dungeon, and these two are engaged to be married next year. And look at this, a 5'9", but a 5'5" from the Russian judge.
We've seen this split a couple of times over the course of the season. Most unusual. They're usually more in line than that.
And up to 5.9 for presentation. So marks wide-ranging for Yuka Sato, but she is the leader. In Calgary, Katerina Witt is still competing. And a tough program to follow here, Paul, at the Challenge of Champions after the brilliant performance by Yuka Sato.
Well, Katerina has a real challenge here because her program will not have the technical difficulty that Yuka had, and her artistic mark will have to be that much stronger.
I will not be well-bred, obedient, and well-behaved. I will not be humble. Don't jump up to be enslaved. I don't want to be your property. 'Cause I belong to me. When I walk the tightrope, don't stop me, just let me try. I want to take chances, find out what it takes to fly. I don't care at all if you agree. I belong to me. You try to raise me on your own array, force me to leave you alone. If you try to change me, I just pray away. Be what I am on my own. I'm burning, you can't put me on the shelf. I'm growing, I'm learning to be even more myself. I know it's not easy to be free, but I belong to me. You want to find me, don't hold me so tight. Don't break me and don't take me on. If you want to bind me, I'm ready to fight. I'll shake all my chains and be gone. I'm here when you need me. I live and I die with you. I'll share all your troubles. I'll laugh and I'll cry with you. You can make me and bless me, but you cannot possess me. 'cause
Skating to music that easily could have been written just for her, Katerina Witt.
She presents a program which gives the judges a challenge. Technically not as strong as that of Yuka, but I think artistically every bit in the same league, but definitely ahead of Oksana in that yes, Oksana did do a triple. Katerina's most difficult jump was this double axel. But the poise, polish, and confidence of Katerina certainly places ahead of Oksana on my card.
Still loves to compete. And the technical marks, you hear the fan reaction, but even lower than that of Oksana Baiul.
Well, they reflect the fact that she did not even attempt the triple jump.
Look at this, though. A 6 from the Dutch judge and terrific 5-9s from 3 others on the panel.
Well, it's great to see the judges call it as they see it. They gave her the marks for what she was strong in and gave her marks that reflected what she did technically.
So Nicole Bobek will follow 2 strong skates. The leader is Yuka Sato. Witt is second. And now, Nicole Bobek of the United States.
Nicole has the most challenging program from a technical perspective. First jump, triple flip. Little over rotated. Difficulty hanging on to the landings of her jumps to this point. Both jumps have had exactly the same problem. They've been over-rotated. That is, she's still in her air position when she lands on the ice. Hits a solid triple sow. I think it's unfortunate for skaters like Nicole, like Kyoko and John, who come to this competition and because maybe of their scheduling difficulties of their other international events, they've been forced to skate what they've currently got in their repertoire. And for them, it's an ISU short program, which is what this was for Nicole. That was her opening triple flip, which was supposed to have been a combination triple flip, triple toe. She over-rotated that, but she did get in this very solid triple sow cow. But I don't think it's the type of program that's going to do well in this one skate for all championship.
Trademark's always been inconsistency with her from one event to the next. You aren't quite sure if you're going to see an unblemished program or not. The presentation marks come up, but not enough to challenge Yuka Sato and Katerina Witt on this night at the Challenge of Champions. So Yuka Sato at her best, and she wins the Challenge of Champions in Fort Lauderdale.
Do you think this is a plus for the professional side of skating, that you come to this competition, a Pro-Am event, and walk away as the ladies champion?
Definitely, it's helping for the other professional skaters to have confidence that it is possible. I never really thought about it, but when you skate well and when you deserve to win, then I think it happens.
The men are next as Challenger champions from Fort. Ready for the men's event. Michael Weiss, Rudy Galindo of the United States, the favorite here. Russia's Alexei Yagudin, who has been on quite a roll. Michael Weiss, we first saw at the World Juniors in 1994. He won that event at the Broadmoor, twice a silver medalist at U.S. Nationals.
And Michael has approached this competition very aggressively. He's going to skate his new LOM program for the season. Music from the movie soundtrack Mulan. Well known that Michael's been working on a quad. He opens with a big pop double toe. That can sometimes happen when you get so preoccupied with an element as difficult as a quad and just don't let your body execute what it's been trained to do. Rely on your instincts and talent. Stop thinking is sometimes the way to go. Very impressed that he could actually hang on to the landing of that. That was on a fierce angle as it traveled through there on that triple axel. Triple flip, triple toe combination. Second triple axel, this one, textbook perfect. He seems to recognize those are the kind of jumps he's going to need if he hopes to challenge Yagudin. Just love an open event. Backflips would be strictly illegal in an ISU amateur competition, and yet here almost anything goes. It's also one of the aspects of single skating that I've always been envious of. You can make changes on the fly and you don't have to consult with your partner to make sure you stay on the same page. Michael's been skating very well this season, has placed second in both of his ISU Grand Prix events this year, will be going to the Grand Prix final. Aside from the mistake with the opening jump of the program, fairly solid skate.
I think he's a skater we've been waiting to make that next step at the Olympics. I think he thought it would happen, but he finished 7th, and there was the rocky start to a program that turned out much better.
Well, that was an attempt at a quad that just got popped into a double, and here's that triple axel that was on a very bad lean, but with cat-like reflexes, he manages to stay on his feet, just touch his hand down to save the landing.
5.7.
A lot of his career with Andre Weisiger, and now
5.7.
under the tutelage of the ubiquitous Tamara Masvina.
The marks for presentation.
And the presentation marks really don't move up from that of the technical marks.
5.7.
A pretty good standard has been set in this men's competition. Here's another American skater, a U.S. champion in '96, Rudy Galindo, capping a 15-year amateur career with that memorable performance in San Jose and now on the pro circuit.
Rudy is one of the most colorful skaters in our sport, and this program demonstrates his versatility as a performer. Prop in hand. Was it a distraction? Hard to tell, but he did 2-foot the landing on that triple flip.
There are those who might argue that the prop is nothing more than a gimmick, and gimmicks are not what we should be seeing at a professional skating competition. But when you incorporate it as well as he has with this particular program, I think it's a sign of good creativity, and that is one thing that judges are always looking for in a skater. Technically, the program was fairly solid. A couple of double axles along the way, triple loop, and some interesting moves like this, which again incorporate the violin bow right into the program.
But then again, he has had this running battle with the judges. So here's how they view it. Well, they're unanimous. 5.6 for skating techniques.
Marks for presentation.
Well, it seems like every sport has a black sheep, and unfortunately, I think Rudy has got that moniker, and it's been very tough for him to shake.
Well, he seemed to appreciate the second set of marks. Seen this year, at 18 years of age, a world champion. He competed in 9 events last year, told us he was going to scale down, but we've got him pegged for at least 9 more this season. And why not, the way he's going?
Scheduled opening jump, triple axel. Triple axel, triple toe. When you're feeling good, go for it. Solid triple Lutz. Triple flip, and that's the 4th major triple jump in this program. Now we know this is Alexei's ISU short program, and in that context, he would only be doing 3 jumps. But here he is, he knows he's got something that's outstanding. He'll just tailor it, fine-tune it slightly for the event, puts in the extra jump, ups the technical difficulty. And based against the competition we've seen to this point, this is the #1 program.
He's done it again. Alexei Yagudin of Russia.
He just skates with such an unbelievable level of confidence now. He's interacting with the audience. He looks like he's out there just having a whale of a time. Here's that opening combination. Triple axel, reloads, springs back up into the air for the triple toe. And this triple loop jump has to be the most effortless element we've seen all evening.
Now skating under Tatiana Tarasova, who said when she took him under her wing that she wanted to open his eyes to all the possibilities, and they have both opened everybody's eyes this season. Look at these marks, 8s and 9s, best we've seen again from Yagudin, and the presentation marks in the same neighborhood as he salutes the crowd here in Fort Lauderdale. 1 skater left, the 4-time national champion of France, Eric Millot, 31 years of age, now on the pro circuit.
But we haven't seen a lot of Eric this season. But he's always been a skater that brings a great degree of intensity to all of his performances. Opening jump, triple Lutz. Jump. Triple axel. Never got completely converted onto the right side, which is a must in any triple jump. Excellent triple flip. Set of that triple sow cow. It's no mystery at this level of competition. When you have a program which has 5 major triple jumps scheduled, you double out of 2 of them, you miss 1 of them and only execute 2, you're not going to be in the running at a competition with the caliber of men that are competing here. Here was that opening scheduled triple Lutz. He obviously didn't feel comfortable, turns it into a safe double. And here was his attempt at the triple axel. You're going to watch, there's space between his legs as he rotates through the air. He has to close that gap completely to make this jump happen.
Paul Millot is not as busy a competitor as many.
5.5.
His last major event was at a World Championship in Spain last year. He finished second there.
The mark
ranged from 4 to 6s and a little bit higher up in the presentation category for Eric Millot, but not going to threaten Alexei Yagudin today. So Yagudin wins yet again ahead of the Americans. Galindo and Michael Weiss. Millot finishes fourth.
Rudy, I know with all the new rule changes, it's been very stressful on you. I want to know how you keep coming back to the competitions, putting new routines together, and skating so well, despite what we see as sort of an unjust.
Yeah, it's really hard emotionally inside, because after each competition I feel like I deserve better marks, or I skate really well and I get standing ovations, and I'm ending up in last place, and people are saying why. But I come back because my sister Laura always tells me, you know, you're not doing it just for the judges. You're doing it because first of all, you're lucky to be invited, and secondly, you love skating, and third, the audience is out there. It's not just performing in front of the judges getting the marks. You have to do it for the audience and yourself. It's just hard. I mean, being a professional, that's why I turned pro, so I could just expand on my artistry and play to the audience. And a lot of the pros do that. I mean, we're so professional out there and bringing the audience into our program and having a great time. And a lot of the amateurs are just jumping here and there and there, and they're getting the marks and winning. So I don't know. Hopefully this rule will change in the future, so we're not getting so frustrated.
Spotlights are up at the National on Ice. The winners here, Oksana Kazakova and Artur Dmitriev, Alexei Yagudin and Yuka Sato. And in the men's event, Paul, really no surprise.
It would appear as though Yagudin is the man to beat this season. He has been just brilliant over the course of the year. I think the only question going into the World Championships, which is obviously what he's working towards, is whether or not he'll have done too many of these events before he gets there. But he's the man they'll all be chasing.
Nice to see Yuka Sato back on form.
Great to see Yuka win a championship. She struggled a little bit earlier in the season, seemed to have lost her confidence, but as you know, in sport, confidence can be everything, and she looked great out here in Florida.
And the Olympic champions do it again.
Well, Kazakova and Dmitriev seem to be able to rise their level of performance to a degree that nobody can beat them when there's something major on the line. Here at this event, it was money. They skated great, and they go home running to the bank.
Well, not going home yet, because the evening's only half over. We're going to now have the exhibition portion of the program, and we'll begin with Oksana Baiul, that won the World Cup last summer.
In sharp contrast to his performance of earlier tonight, he looked far more relaxed. The triples that he executed were excellent, and it just goes to show how difficult it is to be a great competitor. Nerves can really stifle you.
A tribute to the world champions, and he handled the judges a little bit better.
Well, there's certainly a creative spirit about Rudy that when he comes to center ice to take his position, you never quite know what you're going to see. He certainly makes an effort at coming up with good material and always something that's thought-provoking. A skater who had been discouraged by the judges' marks as often as Rudy has been over the course of his career, may have quit long ago, but he keeps coming back because he really does enjoy to perform for moments like this, skating for the audience.
Victory here.
She, for me, was one of the highlight performances of this competition, if not of the entire skating season. Her win tonight was just magical.
When we Come on now, bub, you got me acting just like a fool. It must be love. People like you, cause lovebirds love us. Always love together. It's an old mother heart that keeps folks from drifting apart, and that's the reason, baby, that I know you, baby. We're each other's counterpart. But look down, down. Crazy people, crazy people, crazy people, crazy people, crazy people like me go crazy over people like you. Whoa, good people, daft people, daft people, daft people like me go crazy over things you do. Whoa. Don't mind me forever light, we ain't just child. It's just a habit I've got. You drive me wild. Crazy people, crazy people, crazy people, crazy people like me go crazy over people like you. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yuka Sato, the ladies' winner, had them going crazy over her this week in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in the Challenge of Champions. So we'll be back to wrap up the event on Royal's competitive event of the Royal Bank Magic on Ice series this year. A year that's been characterized by these Pro-Am events. Any final thoughts?
I think the sport of skating seems to be in a constant state of change. We've had some rule changes which have resulted in us having the luxury of watching Alexei Yagudin or Michelle Kwan compete in a professional type competition. But those rule changes have also scared some skaters away. We didn't get to see Brian Boitano, Christy Yamaguchi, or Brian Orser compete, and I think we have to change some more in order to create a situation, create an environment where all of these greats can get back on the ice and skate head-to-head.
No question there will be more alterations to the ever-changing landscape of professional figure